There was never anything wrong with how the Vauxhall Astra looked, and personally I've always found it rather attractive, especially in the red paint, but that hasn't stopped Vauxhall from giving it a midlife facelift. So this is the new car, and it's got some new indicator repeaters, some new fog lamps, we've got a new bumper, we've got a new grille, and check this bit out because you're going to like it. Yes, you can now get the car with some LED daytime running lights, which is great if you've always lusted after an Audi A3, but your fleet manager was always a bit too mean to let you have one. Round the back, the Astra gets a redesigned rear panel and a new bumper, which now features a chrome strip. Flashy. There's been no change inside the Astra's boot though, it's still as big as ever, and you can get it with an adjustable floor for improved functionality. Unfortunately, this car doesn't have it. Sorry. Here in the front of the Astra, the driving position is very good, and there's lots of adjustment in the steering wheel and the driver's seat. I'm quite impressed by the quality as well. All the touch points do feel soft, and the rest of the build, the way things are screwed together, feels very robust. We've also got some decent storage, look there, large bottle in the side door bin. We've got a reasonable sized glove box there for more snacks. The centre cubby is large enough for this, and rather importantly, there's a secret compartment here for your emergency pork scratchings. But while the Astra may look the same inside, it does come with some new kit to make it more appealing, such as a revised digital radio and a new and improved reversing camera. As well as the usual 6 airbags and electronic anti-skid control, the new Astra comes with a driver's assistance pack, which includes technology to stop you getting too close to the car in front and to warn you if you're weaving out of your lane. You can get the Vauxhall Astra with the new bi-turbo diesel engine, but really, unless you do mega miles, stick with the petrols. Actually, I'm going to rephrase that, stick with the turbo petrols. Either the 1.4 or the 1.6, though I think personally for most people, the 1.4 turbo will offer the best blend of price, performance and economy. So then, what's the Astra like to drive? Well, it's actually fairly good. The suspension rides over bumps pretty well, even if you go for the sporty SRI model with its bigger wheels and stiffer suspension. Actually, you're going to need that stiffer suspension if you don't want the car to be all roly-poly in the corners. You can also get it with Vauxhall's Flex Ride adjustable suspension, which improves things further, but ultimately the steering, the way it doesn't really feel like it's connected to the front wheels at all, means this car is nowhere near as much fun to drive as a Ford Focus. And while it's not exactly noisy, it's not as serene at high speed as a super quiet Volkswagen Golf. Speaking of which, there's no way Volkswagen's bosses would have let their designers create a center console that looks as cluttered as that one does. I mean, it's an absolute mess of buttons. I don't really know what's going on there at all. And then there's some other things I want to moan about, but before I do, I need to first jump into the back seats. Now then, I'm not going to complain about the amount of space I've got back here, because actually in the back the Astra's pretty roomy. I've got decent knee room, good headroom. The issue I have is that thick pillar there, because when you're the driver and you're trying to reverse or pull out of tricky filter junctions, it gets right in the way, ruins your visibility. Speaking of which, the windows are rather small, so it can feel a bit dark and dingy in here. Now you're probably thinking, but Matt, it looks nice and bright actually. That's because we've got the exposure really ratcheted up on this camera. If I put it to what we'd have it on in another car, well, you'd see, it'd probably be about there like that. You'd see, there we go, it's quite dark, isn't it? So if you're going to make people sit in the back, you're probably going to want to give them something to help keep them illuminated. Finally, there's the price, because the Vauxhall Astra is rather expensive, and despite that, this SRI model, as you've probably noticed, actually has windy down windows. I mean, what the heck is all that about? And then there's the fact that the car doesn't hold its value particularly well come resale time either. Still, Vauxhall dealers are always willing to negotiate, and if you haggle hard, this car can actually turn out to be pretty decent value.